The question landed on him without warning, light as a feather and heavy as a stone at the same time, the kind of question people ask casually without realizing it can reopen graves. He was standing under the harsh white lights of a school hallway that smelled faintly of disinfectant and crayons, holding a backpack that was not his size, listening to the distant echo of children's laughter. In that ordinary moment, with nothing dramatic about it at all, his entire life tightened in his chest. When she asked if he was married, the world didn't pause. It didn't soften. It didn't prepare her for the truth he carried. His answer didn't come from his mouth first. It rose from the years etched into his face, from the tired steadiness in his eyes, from a love that had survived loss and learned to breathe again. And when the truth finally reached her, it stopped her cold. Before the story truly begins, let me ask you something from the heart. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet strength of ordinary people carrying extraordinary pain, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel, The Kindness Chronicles. Your support helps stories like this reach the people who need them most. He had not planned to become the kind of man people noticed for his silence. Once, long ago, he had been loud with dreams, quick with laughter, careless in the way young love makes you feel invincible. Marriage had come early, wrapped in optimism and cheap furniture and promises whispered in the dark. They had talked about the future as if it were guaranteed, as if time itself had signed a contract with them. Then life, as it so often does, rewrote everything. An illness that began as a shadow became a storm, and the woman he loved slipped away in hospital rooms filled with beeping machines and prayers that arrived too late. He did not become a single father because of a fight or a failure of love. He became one because love was taken from him, and left behind a child who still needed breakfast, bedtime stories, and someone strong enough to keep standing. Raising his daughter alone reshaped him in ways no one warned him about. The nights were the hardest, when the house grew quiet and memories grew loud. He learned to cook meals that were simple but warm, learned to braid hair with clumsy fingers, learned how to sit on the edge of a bed and wait until nightmares loosened their grip. He worked a job that paid the bills and drained his energy, then came home to another full shift of parenting, grief hidden behind responsibility. Friends drifted away, unsure of what to say. Family helped when they could, but no one could replace the woman whose absence lived in every corner of the house. He stopped answering questions about dating, about moving on, about whether he would ever love again. Not because he was bitter, but because explaining loss felt like bleeding in public. Years passed like this, measured in school calendars and growth marks on a wall. His daughter grew from a toddler who reached for him constantly into a thoughtful child who understood more than she let on. She saw the way he paused at family events, the way he lingered at photographs, the way his smile sometimes arrived a second late. She learned kindness early, empathy sharpened by watching a man carry sorrow with dignity. And he, in turn, learned resilience from her, from the way she laughed freely, from the way she trusted the world even after it had taken so much from them. Together, they formed a small, unbreakable universe. The day he met her, the woman who would ask that question, was not supposed to matter. It was an ordinary school day, one of many, filled with errands and routines. She was new to the school, a teacher or a counselor, someone whose presence carried calm. She noticed his daughter first, the careful way the child held herself, the way she clung to her father's hand just a little longer than most kids her age. She noticed him next, the quiet competence, the tired kindness in his eyes. They exchanged polite smiles, nothing more. But something about him stayed with her, a sense that behind his steadiness was a story still unfolding. Over time, small moments accumulated. Brief conversations in hallways, shared nods at school events, the mutual respect that grows when two people see care in each other's actions. She admired the way he showed up, always present, always patient. He appreciated her warmth, the way she treated his daughter with genuine attention, not pity or curiosity. Still, He kept his distance, not out of fear, but out of honesty. His life was full, heavy, and carefully balanced. Letting someone else in felt like moving furniture in a room where everything had been arranged to keep him standing. Then came the moment. The question slipped out of her naturally, without drama, without expectation. She asked if he was married, the way people do when they sense a possibility but don't yet know the shape of it. She expected a simple answer, perhaps a ring, perhaps a casual explanation. What she received instead was a truth layered with years. He did not dramatize it. He did not ask for sympathy. He simply shared that he was not married, that he was a single father, and that the reason carried a weight that never fully lifted. He spoke of love that had ended not by choice but by loss, of a life rebuilt around a child and a promise to keep going. The hallway seemed quieter after that, as if the air itself needed a moment. She felt the ground shift beneath her assumptions. In her mind, she had been arranging him into familiar categories, single by chance, perhaps available by circumstance. His truth dismantled all of that. It was not a story of avoidance or unfinished business. It was a story of devotion tested by tragedy. She saw him differently now, not as someone waiting for the next chapter, but as someone who had already lived a profound one and carried it with grace. For him, answering the question stirred things he usually kept contained. It reminded him that his story was visible, that the world still saw him not just as a father, but as a man with a past. It scared him, a little, because it meant connection was possible again, and connection always carried risk. Yet there was also relief in being honest, in not hiding behind half-truths or polite deflections. He had told his story simply, and it had been received with respect. In the weeks that followed, something shifted gently between them. There was no rush, no sudden romance. There was understanding. She gave him space without pulling away, showed interest without pressure. He found himself looking forward to their brief exchanges, surprised by how easy they felt. His daughter noticed too, the way children always do, sensing warmth before words. She asked careful questions, testing the idea of change. He answered with the same honesty he had given the world, reassuring her that no one would ever replace her mother, that love did not erase love, that their bond remained the center of everything. The challenges did not disappear. Grief does not vanish just because new hope appears. He struggled with guilt, with the fear that opening his heart again somehow betrayed the woman he had lost. He wrestled with exhaustion, with the reality that his life left little room for spontaneity. She faced her own doubts, aware of the responsibility that came with caring for a man whose life included a child and a deep history of loss. But they moved forward carefully, guided not by fantasy, but by respect. What changed him most was realizing that his story did not end with survival alone. It could include growth, connection, and even joy, without denying the pain that shaped him. He learned that being a single father was not a limitation, but a testament to his capacity for love. She learned that asking a simple question could open a door to profound truth, and that compassion often begins where assumptions end. As time passed, the world around them continued its noise, but their moments remained grounded. School events turned into shared smiles, then into longer conversations. Trust built slowly, like a bridge strong enough to carry the weight of two complicated lives. His daughter grew more confident, seeing her father not just as someone who endured, but as someone who allowed himself to live again. And he, in quiet moments, felt gratitude for the courage it took to answer honestly that day. Near the end of this story, what lingers is not a dramatic declaration or a perfect ending, but a sense of human truth. A single question can reveal a lifetime. A single answer can change how someone sees you forever. And kindness, when met with honesty, can create space for healing. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of someone you love or a loss you carry quietly, please take a moment now to like this video, share it, and subscribe to The Kindness Chronicles. Your engagement helps these stories reach others who might feel alone in their journeys. Before the ending, I have one special request from the heart. Please comment a line below about what this story made you feel, or who it reminded you of. Your words matter more than you know. In the end, his answer did not stop her because it was tragic. It stopped her because it was real. And sometimes, reality, carried with honesty and grace, is the most powerful love story of all.